Hey guys, Ralph here, and today I'm going to show you how to change your brake pads and rotors on your Nissan Juke. Things we need: we have these new rotors and brake pads. Also have these new brake clips. We have this penetrating fluid, brake cleaner, anti-seize lubricant. We also have this brake caliper tool. We have this one-man bleeder, paper towels, mechanic gloves. We have this hammer and flathead screwdriver. We have these wrenches, open wrench, caliper grease, and we have this ratchet and extension. And we also have those jack and jack stand. First is we're going to jack up the car. Remove the lug nuts using a 21mm socket. Remove the wheel off. Place it under the chassis for additional protection. Remove the caliper bolts using a 14mm socket and a breaker bar. And since our breaker bar is quite big, we're going to use this open wrench to break the caliper bolt loose. Then we can use a regular ratchet to loosen the bolt up. Wedge the caliper up. Then use a flathead screwdriver to remove the brake pads. Once you have the caliper removed, secure it out of the way and make sure that you're not putting any pressure on the brake line. Remove the caliper bracket bolt using a 17mm open wrench and a hammer. Then use a regular ratchet to remove the caliper bracket bolt. Remove the rotor. You can hammer it down if it got rust welded. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that everything looks fine with the new rotor. So let's check and compare those two. And we're going to remove this rubber piece and we're going to transfer it to the new rotor. Clean the hub surface with a wire brush and a brake cleaner. Try to clean the dust shield as well as the drum brakes. Put anti-seize on the hub face, so the next time we need to remove the rotor, it's not going to stuck and it will be easier for us to remove it. Install the new rotor. Make sure that the rubber is aligned on the drum brake adjuster. Clean the caliper bracket with a wire brush and a brake cleaner. Use removable thread locker to prevent vibrations from loosening up the bolt as we drive. Reinstall the 17mm bolts by hand for the caliper bracket. Then use a regular 17mm ratchet to tighten those bolts. Remove the brake clips using a flathead screwdriver. After removing the clips, clean the area with a wire brush. So what I like to do is to put some lubricant on the backside of the clips where there's a metal to metal contact, like this. After putting some lubricant, we can now reinstall the new brake clips on the brake caliper bracket. Apply anti-seize on the brake ears as well as the back side of the brake pads, where there's a metal to metal contact between the brake pads and the caliper. After applying anti-seize, we can now install the new brake pads to the caliper. Using a torque wrench, torque the caliper bracket bolt to 100 foot-pounds. That's good. And since we can't use our torque wrench to tighten the upper caliper bracket bolt, we're just going to use a regular ratchet with a cheater bar to tighten the bolt up. Good and tight. Before installing the caliper guide pins, clean it first with paper towel and brake cleaner, then apply some caliper grease on it. Grab the caliper and reinstall the bolts. Install the upper bolt first, just hand tighten it. Now we're going to use this 1mm bleeder to bleed the valve while adjusting the piston. Use a flat metal and a caliper tool to compress the piston. Once you install the 1mm bleeder, open the bleeder bulb using an open wrench while compressing the piston using a caliper tool. After we're done compressing the piston, we can now close the bleeder valve before we remove the tube. After compressing the piston, we can now close the caliper and reinstall the lower caliper bolt. Using a torque wrench, tighten the caliper bolt to 20 foot-pounds. After installing the caliper, clean the rotor again with a brake cleaner to remove the grease and dust. Reinstall the tire and the lug nuts. Remember to tighten those lug nuts when the tire is on the ground. Simple rule, tighten those lug nuts in a cross-star pattern. The last step is to pump up the brake for a few times to build up the brake pressure. Press it for a couple of times until the pedal feels hard. And that's how you install and replace new brake pads and rotors on your Nissan Juke. And if you find this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.